a fantastic day so far. I'll bring you up to speed as to what's going on. Oh wait, the volume's going down. Sometimes I accidentally turn down the volume by accident. Hold on. I think we're good now. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we went out to the Paw Paw farm. A friend of mine, great guy. If you're in the Ohio area and you don't have Paw Paws, try to talk to Jay McGrath, the Paw Paw man. He is doing great things out there for the local plant scene. He set me up today with a bunch of different plants. He gave me some goldenrod. I got some Paw Paw saplings. I got a number of Paw Paw seeds. For those of you that aren't familiar with what the hell a Paw Paw is, it is a native fruit to Ohio, and it is a tropical fruit that has found itself in the Midwest. It's got a really like almost custardy, pulpy kind of texture to it, and it tastes kind of like somewhere between a mango, a banana, and a papaya. And you hear me chomping on it, it's because I am, because they're delicious. The reason I'm eating them is because I want the seeds so I can get those scarified and in the ground. Or at least towards being put in the ground. I've got some more research to do before I do that, though. As you can see, I've got a stack going here. We'll actually go through and scrape the pulp off later, but for now, I'm just working them into my mouth. If you ever get a chance to eat Paw Paw, please do. They are a fantastic fruit. And not nearly enough people know about them. There's people that have lived here their whole lives that have no idea about what the hell a Paw Paw is. They're great. They're pretty easy to grow. They're finicky at first, but once you get them established, no problemo. So what we're doing here, give you guys a good-ish look. Hold on. We're digging out a bed for these guys. There's some great sun here for them. And I'm going to go ahead and chunk them out of spot, get them in the ground. We're going to work some compost into here. And then we should be set. I probably will, after I get this done, go and dig out some river rock for them to rock this in and make it look good. I want to get a little more space. I don't want to plant them too close together because they are trees, so they will get big. The other benefit of going to this farm was getting to talk to him about grafting. You guys know how much I hate the Bradford, but there's good news. We can graft easily, apparently, edible good pears onto the Bradford rootstock. And this plant can become useful and not completely useless. Finally. So I'll probably stop bullying them so much. Oh, there we go. I think I'm going to go one more chunk within so there's enough easily rootable soil here for everything. We're in the middle of a real nice drought here, so I'll have to baby these poor suckers because they're here in the full sun. So they'll definitely need all of the moisture I can give them. But it'll be worth it because in a while we'll have nice, tasty. What? Our mic died. Oh no. That's okay. I'll just stay close so you guys can relatively hear me. Actually, let's go put this on charge. And once it's done, we'll get that back going. Because I know you love hearing my lovely, buttery voice. So we're just going to go in the house real quick, throw this on the charger, and then get back to working. I don't think it's supposed to actually rain today. It might act like it, but I think we'll be okay. We're also going to give these guys a bath in some rooting hormones because I like to hedge my bets. And that'll be good to do. Beepus. My cat says hello. So we're just gonna come down here and throw this dude on charge. Because why not, right? I like my electronics to have juice. Apparently I forgot to unplug it last time. So, I think so at least. Let's see. I think she's dead. She's dead, Jim. Let's put this in that basket. Actually, I know what the matter is. Bluetooth is not on. That's why they can't connect. I'm an idiot. So let's see here. Look at that. 100% battery remaining. Find the right ear side. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Oh look, you can see my cat playing with stuff. Bubs, are you murdering that? Yeah. She's pretty cute when she wants to be. Bubs. Say hi to Bubs, everybody. Alright. So we're gonna go back to the outdoors. To the outdoors now that I'm not a tool. Well, I'm probably still a tool, but less so. I need to clean today too. I have so many things to do. So many things. Okay. Now we're back at it again. We're back at it again, boys. Whew. He's running, but there's an orb weaver up there. Let's see if I can't get you guys a look. Scared of spiders, I'm sorry. But, ooh, I hear a crow. Maybe we'll finally have crow friends. I don't know. Okay. So we're just going to finish spreading out this area here. And we can proceed to planting these dudes. We'll probably grab some compost, just kind of hack that a little bit and work it in. Just to get some good organic material into the dirt. This is probably mostly clay and garbage. In fact, I know it is. Just by looking at it. That lovely ag soil judging stuff coming in handy. I just took the class to get breakfast because I was a fat kid. But, turns out I use that stuff. If you ever thought about growing stuff yourself, don't be afraid, man. Get out there, grab a shovel, and do it to it. You'll be happier because you did, and you didn't. Well, I might be bullshitting. This soil doesn't look too bad. Like, there's definitely clay in there, but there's some nice black topsoil in there too. But we'll still work in some compost, so it looks good. Oakley dokley. Now we do the real fun part. And that is flopping the dirt around to take it away from the grass. Which is, it's not the worst thing in the world, I suppose. There we go, I'm gonna straddle this thing. The cool thing is we can add this grass to the compost. Let me put you guys like that. That'll work easier. So for the 1000th time, wear gloves when you're gardening. It's good for your hands to not get obliterated by dirt. But I'm a chump, and I never do. I have gardening gloves somewhere. I don't know where they are, but they're somewhere. Nobody knows where. Well, I don't know where they are. I'm sure someone else knows. So there's some briquettes of clay. We're gonna break those up, and we're gonna try to get everything to a point where it's more workable. Currently, we're just freeing the soil, which is a bit melodramatic, but that's what we're doing. And we'll take these grass clods and add them to the compost. So we're just winning right, left, and center here today. Just break these up by hand. You can also use a hoe to do this, but I prefer to get in there and up and personal, as it were. Just break everything up and rake all the dirt you can back into your beds, because you don't want to waste anything. We're gonna take the hoe to our compost a little bit, hack it and whack it and smack it to get some usable organic material. We'll work that into the soil. We'll also take some rooting compound and add that to the pawpaws themselves to get those nice and pretty. And then we'll make sure every morning to water them, because they are tropical. They like it good and wet, which they should be fine here. I'm close to Woodman Fen, and that's vaguely what they like, I think. If memory serves, which it might not. The cool thing is that the grass is currently basically dead, so we don't really have to worry about much. Just break up the dirt and proceed. With respect to like what kind of dirt do the plants need, like do they like it acidic, do they like it alkaline. Don't plant an alkaline plant next to an acidic one, because you're going to get one plant out of that situation, or hell, you may get zero, because they both may die. So always plan out your garden a little bit. I am a little bit more liberal in my doing, because I've been doing this for a while, so it may look like I just buy plants all willy-nilly, but I do have a plan, I assure you, when I do buy plants all willy-nilly. Not denying that I do purchase them willy-nilly. Nilly, it's a hard word to say. Alright, we're just moving right along here. I'm trying to find a good place to put you guys. I don't know that I have one. Maybe if I'm happy with that. So the more I look at this, there's like clay in some spots and decent topsoil in others. So like I said, we're just going to break as much of this up as we can, which there's a lot of it, but it's okay. It doesn't take that long once you get in the zone. And then we'll chuck the grass clods into the compost, and everybody will be happy. Or at least I will be. Hopefully my doings make you as happy as they make me. The organic material will help in the drainage of this soil. It'll also help it nourish and be happy. We like happy dirt here. Channeling my inner Ross again. We like happy, healthy dirt. I mention Bob Ross a lot because he's really someone that I look up to. Because he came from an area of like strife and anger, because he was a drill sergeant. And he didn't want to yell at people anymore, so he started painting, and I really like that about him, you know, that you can go from doing something. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Everyone knows that I struggle with my own mental disorders. We all do. The lovely modern gambit of depression and all that stuff. But things have gotten better since I started gardening. Gardening and the stone polishing and the beetles and stuff have all helped my mental health, like, whoa mama. And I do recommend getting treatment if you are struggling, but definitely don't stop there, right? Too many people go to the doctor and they're like, I got the SADS, and the doctor's like, well, here's an antidepressant. And then they're like, I still have the SADS, doctor, why? That's because medicine isn't a one-stop shop for treating your problems. You have to... someone on the internet's talking to me. You have to keep going. You have to keep going and growing. See, gardening, growing, get it, see what I did there? It's a tie-in. Because if you're not, it's just not going to get better. And I've said that a lot, but I feel like it bears repeating. Because so many people I know they're fucking miserable. They work jobs they don't like to afford things they don't need. I'm just getting into Fight Club quotes. So edgy. But, yeah. Do what it takes to find your level of happiness. I've often said, in regards to my dating stuff mostly, that I don't care what goals you have, just have goals, you know? It could be to get a better KDA on Fortnite, or have the world's biggest rubber band ball. It doesn't really matter, as long as you're doing something that you value and you're deriving enrichment from it. Because you got to get something out of stuff you put things into, right? Elsewise, you're just going to end up tapped out. Right? You can't burn the candle at both ends forever. And I'm guilty of that, right? Of trying to do too much and being surprised when, like, my head hits the pillow and I'm just unconscious. And that could be because the amount of beer I've had recently, but, you know, the neighbor a wave. Aww. He's got his doggo out with him. Looks like they were playing fetch. That's cute. Look at the doggo. Hi, doggo. Just taking the dirt away from this junk. I've said it 1,000 times, but I hate grass. It's just useless garbage. Got a neighbor to wave at. Oh, I'm not sure where I'm going to put this goldenrod yet. I might dig a whole other flower bed for it. Because puck it, chuck it football. I know they like full sun, so the place where I have 2 openings I don't think are going to work. But we'll see. We'll see what we can accomplish. I'm going to move down the line a little bit here. I've kind of worked through this chunk. I'm getting pretty good at making these flower beds pretty swiftly. Because they're just not hard to make. Breaking up dirt and chucking grass around. No problem. I do wish I had an assistant of some persuasion. Because talking to you guys is fun and all, but another voice in the background would be nice. I don't know if I've told you guys yet on, not this Sunday, because obviously that's today. The next Sunday, we are going to have a little gathering here at the house. I'm going to have people over. We're going to decorate that. I'll show you the mounted skulls I put on there in just a minute. So that'll be cool. I'm trying to do everything in my power to kind of combat the winter blues before they happen. Having a nice, well-done garden to put to sleep for the season will help, because I'll know that, like, oh man, hey, just hang out for a bit. Spring will be here again, and it'll be good again. Right? Because grub, had to kill it. Winter doesn't last forever. And that's something I have to remind myself of throughout the winter time frame. And I do feel like I sound like kind of like a sad sap when it comes to stuff like that. But it's true. It really is. The winter just utterly annihilates my mental health. It's just gray and death and sad and bad and just... And of course the usual response is, why don't you move somewhere else? I don't want to live somewhere else, because Ohio's not the worst place to live. It's not the best by far, right? Because you've got your Californias, your Colorados, and pick your wealthy people place to retire. But I like it here. The cost of living's not terribly high. I don't really get along with the local population that well, but I get along well enough with my neighbors that they aren't bothered by my weirdoing. So I'm kind of fine with that. There's not really a scene in Dayton that I'm a part of, but yeah, I'm okay with that, you know? You try, you fail, you get up, you try again, right? So I failed out of the social sector here in regards to the current industry that I occupy, which was kind of upsetting. I wanted to belong there, at least in some respect. And that's totally okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. So if you're struggling in an area with people, and you've been struggling for a long time with them, fuck them, man. Not to say that giving up should be your aspiration, but there's a certain amount of time invested. It's like the time invested fallacy, where you're like, well, I have to keep doing this because I spent so much time doing it. No, you don't. Don't continue to walk in a circle if it brings you no joy anymore. Like, does this bring joy? And if it doesn't, just chuck that shit into the incinerator. You gotta do what's right for you. And try to make shit work with people. I'm all for that, but I kind of exhausted my last fuck within the, last 2 years. But things are getting better. I'm networking a lot. I'm meeting a lot of really cool people. And I really think that I'm on the path to something good. I just got to kind of keep my head up, keep my nose to the grind wheel, as it were, and pretty sure I'm going to end up all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. I'm gathering rocks because we're going to make a flower bed later. Why not grab some that are pre-assembled, It's a beautiful day outside. Not too hot, not too cold. Just pleasant. So what we're going to do with all of these pawpaws is give them bath and rooting hormone once we're done here. For those of you that are just tuning in. Maybe you're tuning in, I don't know. Into what would be my question. One of the problems I'm going to run into, and I know it here, is with the clay. And my hope is that as I work in organic material, it'll fix itself, but we'll see what happens. Because I know there's some clay clumps here. And I'm hoping they just kind of work in to the soil here. I really don't know what's going to happen. Really don't know. You never do. Because over there where my fire pit is, you guys have seen that, it is just 100% clay. So hopefully on the outskirts here I get lucky, and at least we have enough topsoil to plant in and expand with organic material. But we'll see. I am, if nothing else, adaptable. What are your guys' backgrounds of study? Like your field you're trying to work in. Do you enjoy it? Do you want to change things up? What are your aspirations? Someone that's going into my 30s and kind of coming to the top of the mountain with one career and moving to the next. It's fucking scary, man. I don't claim any kind of interpersonal bravery. I do not. I'm scared shitless to do this. Like I keep saying, I'm not going to quit my job tomorrow, but like there will come a day where, I'm like, well, there's money coming in and this is kind of stable, and like that'll be when we fly the proverbial roost, as we get affiliated and we get all that stuff done. And that's just my life now is doing things on Twitch or YouTube or whatever media outlet that I'm working on, which will probably be all of them. That seems to be the genuine idea. And that's another great thing about Ohio is it's fairly cheap to live here, and I have roommates, and that splits the costs down. So essentially the overhead of running my quote-unquote brand or empire, whatever the hell you want to call it, that I'm trying to build here, the costs are low. I should be able to generate enough revenue to pay my rent, my bills, and maybe have a little bit of money left over to feed myself. But in doing this, I can just grow my own food. So I can cut down on that. Now stuff like bread and things like that, obviously, I'll have to still buy that. But as far as vegetables go and things of that persuasion, you can grow all of that. So it's more work, but is it though? Like, when you really sit down and think about it, if you're doing something you enjoy and it is both feeding you and paying your bills, is that more work? I don't think so. I think that's living by your I think that's a really beautiful thing. And I'm super happy that I found out about all of this and kind of, I don't want to say got it on the ground because, we've been growing plants forever, but there's definitely people in my age group that are really fascinated by this stuff. And if I continue to move, grow, and do, I stand to make a pretty okay living for myself. I don't think I'll ever get rich, unless I write some sort of best-selling book, which my past as a writer is probably going to allude to that not happening. But who knows? Who knows? It's always, you never know. I'm 30. I've got at least another 30 years on me, right? Unless this dirt ball goes up in flames with the current political climate. That's very possible. That's the other reason why that's kind of motivated me to do this, is that if things are going to go down the tubes, which I'm not a naysayer or a doomsday prophet, so I don't actually think they are, but we'll say that it's a feasible possibility that could happen, right? Why not live your dream, right? Even if you fail as the bombs or whatever are dropping, you can say, you know what? I lived a good life. I lived a good life. I did the things that I wanted to, and I can embrace oblivion happily, It's maudlin. I won't deny that it is, but, why not? Why not live your dreams? If you fail, you tried. I think so many people end up working dead-end jobs, wishing that they'd focused on their passion. And there are people that I always say this: if you work at a desk job and you enjoy working at a desk job and you find that fulfilling, then more power to you, man. I respect that. The normal path has never been something for me, though. And normal is often something that's very detracted from, right? To be unique and to be different is often priced upon. There is nothing wrong with being a normal human being. There is nothing wrong with working a 9-to-5 job, having a wife and 2.5 kids with a picket fence and a dog. There's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of people would say that's like the American dream. But it's not my American dream. It's not the dream for this American. What I'm doing now is my dream. And I'm happy for that. It's kind of taken a lot from me to accept myself, kind of. Maybe not necessarily myself. To realize that the normal pathways for people are not for me, right? And I spent a lot of years really lost, and there was lots of drugs and alcohol and just kind of whoring around, and it was dark. I was probably still am the black sheep a little bit, but I've really gotten my shit together the last 5 years, I think, which is good. A lot of people, I think, they get in this mindset that there is no redemption for themselves. They've exhausted everything, and there's no way for them to establish a meaningful life, and that they're just waiting out the clock until the Reaper comes and gets them, right? And that couldn't be any further from the truth. I mean, look at Robert Downey Jr. is a really good example. Not that I'm in the acting sector, but he was pretty much a degenerate like myself for a long amount of time, and then he got sober. I mean, my consumption has never gotten to the problem where I felt like I needed to go through a rehab, but I probably drank more than I should at some points in my life. And working in the alcohol industry certainly doesn't help that. The normal amount of booze consumption is probably functional alcoholism, if you really look at it. So, getting that under control and finding focus and all of these things has been really, really nice. And what works for me might not work for you. I like to continually state that. If my content brings you joy, I'm very happy about that. That's why I do this, right? The streaming. I do the gardening because I enjoy it. I stream it because if I can make one person that's having a bad day smile, I feel like I've done what I was put here to do. Little known fact, a lot of my family growing up was kind of church-oriented, right? Like pastors and that stuff. I think my grandpa was a pastor of some persuasion, preacher, something like that. And that's kind of what they wanted for me, because I've got a very, I don't like to use the word commanding presence because that sounds like I think highly of myself. I know how to work a room. I can get people off their guard and talking and interacting, and that's a skill that works really well within the church. It also works well for cult leaders, which, I don't want to do that. But I'm happy to use that ability to maybe make some people happy, to entertain as well as educate, which is why we're out here making a flower bed. Not terribly hard. Again, you dig a hole, you bust up rock clods, then we'll grab some compost after we hack it a bit, and from there we will start planting. Well, then we'll put the rooting hormone down. Then we'll start planting. Got a order of operations here. After we get done with this, we're going to go down to the river, gather up some rocks. Looks like I busted up an anthill. Sure did. Whamp whamp. Poor little ant bros. They'll get over it. They're ants. They don't care. They'll rebuild in about 10 minutes. But the most important thing in life is that you're moving towards something you care about. And if you say that, well, I don't care anything about it. First, I don't care about anything. Be careful you don't cut yourself on that edge, bro. Everyone cares about something. It might not seem like it matters, because there's kind of a lot of weight put on some traditional things, like if you're not working towards your career, or that's the biggest lie they ever tell you, is that your career has to be blank. There's a lot of hate and shade thrown at people that get arts degrees, and kind of rightfully so, right? Because there's no women's studies factories down the street that you can get a job at. But if you follow the right channels when it comes to developing a circle, you can end up a lot better off than you think. And that's something that I've very much so noticed within the last year, is that networking is everything. A degree can help you to get it in to talk to people that you don't know, and that's often times where those things to come in handy, which I'll never talk down about higher education. If you have the chance to go to school and learn, please do so. And take those electives, man. Take those electives, whether it's psychology, sociology, or whatever. Always, always, always learn about a thing that you don't know about and you have a curiosity about. Even if it's taking college-level home ec, there's nothing wrong with that. It's often talked about that, like, this generation doesn't know how to cook. I know how because I took home ec courses. I took home ec, and I took shop, and I took all of these things that sort of taught me how to do all of these things. And that's kind of another reason that I started this streaming channel. I know how to do a lot of cool stuff, and for a long time I played lots of video games. And I still do. You guys will see me playing Stardew Valley on here sometimes, or I think towards the winter I'm going to start playing Kinseed. But Stardew is fun because I can play with my neighbor. But you can do all of those things in real life, so I thought it would be a very interesting concept to have the channel dedicated to playing some video games. I tried that. That Komodo dragon has some fat loot, and I know it, and I want it. But we'll get him. We'll slay Steve, the Komodo dragon. I'm sure he has fat loot drops. That is a BB from me. I probably missed something over there. Squirrels. I wish that they would just learn and leave me alone, because I feel bad, kinda, about constantly thwacking them when they're getting in my garden and being nuisance animals. It's cheaper than calling an exterminator to come out and deal with it. I tried catch and release traps, and they just didn't work. I tried every other option on how to deal with them, from pie tins to hot sauce to, God, you name it. Hell, you can see it over there, there's a owl statue in my tree, and I've seen squirrels hang out there and eat nuts next to the owl. Like, sup, owl bro, we're friends. And they just don't care. But, sometimes progress is painful for the squirrels, I guess, not for me. They're honestly the only nuisance animal I really deal with here. The birds don't bother me much, because they eat the bird seed I leave for them, and that's really it. I don't have... Starlings were kind of obnoxious, but they got the message pretty quick that they weren't welcome here. Smart bird. I think they're in the corvid family. I'm not certain. People on the internet are talking to me. Oh, we're doing the painting thing next Sunday. People seem to think that it was this Sunday. I might have misrepresented that. Oh well, I'm trying to get the information corrected. It's very peaceful to sit out here and talk to you guys. It's like almost like a therapy of sorts. Which I've had people tell me that gardening is like their equivalent of church. The Paw Paw gentleman that I met with today, he has a similar worldview, which is a lovely gentleman. I had a very good time this morning. We got to talking. I actually had to catch myself because we were talking, and they had to be I think they went to the German picnic or something today, and I was like, oh shit, it's getting to be time towards that. Finally let the poor man go back about his day. I don't get enough social interaction, I don't think, about people that are, again, not to over credit my knowledge, but like your average like tomato and begonia growing gardener doesn't know shit about native Ohio pollinators and weird fruiting stuff. So when I meet someone else that's knowledgeable in these things, especially he knows about grafting, which is something, as you guys may or may not know, that I'm kind of fascinated with, but don't know enough about to allow myself to try it. Also, I was nervous that I would buy the grafting tool and just try to franken-graft everything to everything, which I know you can't do after some sad Googling. I was like, oh. Because if you could just graft anything to anything, it was going to get to be like the Dr. Monroe. The Isle of Dr. Monroe, rather. Up in here real quick. Just everything grows everything. Redundant, probably, but when redundancy is cool, it's okay. I need to get a signal booster for out here. If you haven't yet and you're interested, please follow us on Instagram. The Artsy Shaman is where I do a lot of my... It's on Facebook as well and Twitter, but the Instagram is where it gets shared from. So if you're into the gram, please follow me on there. Or if Facebook or Twitter are your shtick, it's on there too. I try to post daily, multiple times a day. Whatever I'm working on, I try to showcase there. I also do the streams, so if you like to pay attention to me here, that's fine too. But I always like to... the cool thing about Instagram is I can like follow you back, right? I can see what cool projects you're going about. And we have a Discord as well. The Discord's there for you guys to share your projects or represent yourself if you also like doing this streaming thing. Banding together is the best way to grow yourself in this community, and I try to offer myself as a platform to do that. So, my friend Nathan Finley has been a world of help in teaching me how to do this stuff, or Finn Diesel being his tag there. He has helped me more than I could ever hope to repay him for. He is a wonderful human. We get into lots of philosophical and political conversations, and I'm just like, wow, you're just a good person. Like a lot of his beliefs and stuff, like if the world was its idolized self and like fully functional, Nathan would be a very nice world leader. But we both have work in and idolism. It's not healthy, because nothing will ever change, right? They're like, well, that's not how things work. Well, the first way for things to change how they work is to try it. So I never poo-poo his ideals. I just occasionally am like, well, I wish that worked that way, but people are bastards, so that's not how it works. He's like, well, they shouldn't. And I'm like, right, they shouldn't. But sitting here and doing this, I can move on to me thwacking the compost. We'll also take the hoe to this dirt to break up any clods so we don't end up with any hollow pockets on the root bed for these plants, and that'll be really cool. I've got another project I'm working on with work to see if it'll or fruit bushes or just really anything useful, because I really believe that that could be better utilized, right? It's also kind of like a big trash catcher, because you can't get in there the honeysuckle, you're all tangled up. So fingers crossed that Mr. Schwartz lets me do that. I would very much so enjoy it, and I'm offering to do it for free, so like you really can't beat that. Or maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe someone will pay you to work on their lawn. I don't know. I wouldn't pay to do it. I just have excess plants. Well, not excess. I will have additional plants next year. And planting the volunteerlings there wouldn't take me any kind of time. Any kind of time at all. I might spread out some of my stuff to other places. I'm uncertain. Because I've got this like pocket dream of just gathering up stuff and planting it in the bike path. So that I can have my own little like secret fruit grove back there. Because it really wouldn't take me anything to go back there during the winter. Like the early spring and just rip out everything that's not black raspberry. So that it can take over. Because it will if you let it. It'll 100% take over. So we're almost to the end of breaking stuff up. Do 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 do. I like mornings where I get to go out and do cool stuff. I don't want to call myself a homebody because I don't stay inside, but like I've always got so much shit to do here that I don't like leaving it because I feel like I'm not working towards my goals if I'm not sitting out here with my hands in the earth or my hands working on rocks or whatever, which I'm sure is just part of who I am as a person. I always like to be accomplishing something. I'm not very good at taking personal time. I'm garbage at it. No doubt in my mind, I am absolutely terrible at taking personal recovery time, I guess you would call it. So, we're just about done here. We got just a little bit. Actually, I'll probably just grab the hoe and rake stuff back in. So we must go up. In up, Chuck. There we go. You guys are upside down. How's it feel? Feel good? Okay. And we're going back up. Top side. So, you guys a grand's eye view here. What we're going to do is hack up uneven ground. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do real quick. A little bit of hoeing to break up any dirt clods we have remaining that I missed. Also going to do this just to get as much of the topsoil as we can into the bin. Because it does us a fat lot of good, not in the bin. But a lot of bin. I don't know what to call it. Just a couple of these just to get the soil. It also aerates the soil a little bit. You always want to be doing that. Because much like you, plants are alive. And they need oxygen. There we are. Push all that down like so. Alrighty, now we're going to thwack our compost a little bit and take some of that over to the beds. Hack it a little. This stuff's probably not ready to use, but more my coffee grounds. But organic material is organic material, you know? We'll just try to take. It's probably my fault. Also, what I'm going to do before I take this is wet this compost down because we don't want it to dry out. We want it to stay good. Wet. also wet this dirt a little bit. There it goes. Okay. Now back to the compost. So we're just gonna kind of hose this guy down. And it's been super sunny and super hot, so we'll water this real good and try to grab something from the bottom. It should have begun breaking down. The only big downside to the late stage planting is I've got so many projects working that I need them to come to fruition faster than they are. And I could just go with Knollwood and get some compost, but I hate spending money on stuff that's in my backyard. I'm actually just going to let this go for a second. That like that. And while it's doing that, I'm going to thwack it a couple times just to try to get everything, mixed together like it should be. Probably just going to grab this into the dirt. I'm leaving the crunchier, chunkier stuff in there because that'll break down. I'm getting some of the softer, easier to break down stuff that'll work a little better into this. And ideally the following year we'll have enough of this stuff to fill in every bed with it. Okay, that should be enough just to get... We're only trying to get a starting bit going. Wave at the neighbor here. Say hi, neighbor. Hello, neighbor.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad, just working a little bit of organic material into the soil.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take all this grass nonsense and add it to the compost. You really should. It's nice to take stuff that's no garbage and turn it into something useful. That's what I do with all my lawn waste, vegetable scraps, paper, coffee grounds, all that stuff. Into the compost it goes. Which is really nice, right? Otherwise it's going into a landfill, and it'll break down there too, but it's not going to get used for soil if it's in a landfill. Probably not. So we're just going to rotate this stuff in a little bit. Just kind of give it a couple of these. Get it in there. Incorporated. And looking good. Some tomatoes in there, which means we'll get volunteer-linked tomatoes from here, which I'm not sure what kind of weeds you get, but I'll take a tomato any day over like a thistle or whatever garbage is out there. We'll take the hoe to this after the fact just to make sure everything gets mixed in real well, and then we'll treat it again with a little bit of water, just so we're planting our pawpaws into nice, rich, nice soil, which will be nice. And if one of the reasons or something along those lines is because where you're at the soil sucks, the only way to fix it is you, man. It ain't gonna magically stop sucking overnight. Feed it. Coffee grounds, work real well. What else do I throw in here? The ashes from the firewood, which we have some over there we need to add. We'll do that in just a minute. There's all kinds of stuff you can put in there. Soak this bin nice and wet. Okay, so we worked some organic material into the soil, so that's got that to feed it while it breaks down. Now I'm going to take the garden hoe and chop it up. Again, we're just going to make sure everything's happy. Gotta have happy plants. Happy plants make happy people. So, I'm just gonna do a couple of these, chopping everything up, making sure that it's worked in and good. Okay. Oh yeah, these guys are gonna do great here. Okay. All right. There's that. Whew. Need to go in and some water for the garden. Whew. That is better. Okay. Now let's fill the bucket with some water. In that water, we're going to put some rooting hormone. And that will help our little plant dudes shoot out new roots. So they're real happy. We'll do the same thing with this goldenrod once I figure out where the hell I'm going to put it. I could put it in this front bed up here, I guess. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go. That's what we always do here. We figure it out as we go. 3 tablespoons. So I'm just going to fill this guy up like so. 1. We'll do 2 of these because that's probably about 3 tablespoons. And then we'll get our extra special factory-made mixing item, mixing machine. I'll show you how it works. Factory mixing machine. Look at that technology. All right. There's. Okay. Oh. So, we'll plant this awesome morning. Jay actually just reached out to me. He said, "Great to meet you today. My yard is still in its infancy, but once it starts to really produce, I will have fruit and, more importantly, seed to spread it further. I'm happy just to share with people what I can, with people who care." Like I said, if you're interested in anything that I'm talking about today, reach out to me, and I'll share what I have. And if I can't share what I have, I will definitely get stuff to share. So we'll take this guy out of his pot. Looks like he's got a healthy root. And we're just gonna dig in here, getting him well below the root line there. That should be perfect. And then we'll just flop him into place. We'll water him after this just to make sure that there's pockets, because it's a little sad when there's air pockets. And we'll come out. How far apart do I want to plant these? Because they'll grow close. About here. I'm thinking about there from that one. Because there's no guarantee they'll all make it either. So. Scoot them over. Oh, they're a undergrowth plant, so they should be used to being living next to each other. All right. Oh, come here. He said he just dug up this one yesterday, so let's give him a Dunkarooski there. We're just dunking that in there to get it good and coated. Give it 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. And again, we'll pour this on the actual plants after the fact. Okay, there's that guy planted. Look at that happy Paw Paw. Another rock. I keep this shit up. I might have a flower bed worth of rocks just from digging out the bed. Okay. So there's 2 dudes in the ground. 2 dudes in the ground. Alrighty. Looks like we're going to have enough space to probably do about 2 more. If I end up We'll see. Sweating my face off, quite literally. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's see what we're working with here. Got a nice little root ball here. All this. Ooh, look at all these little dudes. One you guys can't see. There's a Paw Paw. Oh, we got so many. Like I said, I don't know if all these will make it, so I'll probably just plant them all here. And if they outgrow where they're at, I'll transplant them. But so many Paw Paws. Oh my God. Oh, Jay, you're so kind to me. There's no guarantee that all these will make it, but if they do, I will feel awesome about everything. Okay. So many little dudes. And we've got more seeds to plant, so I might turn into a Johnny Paw Paw seed. You a Paw Paw? I'm gonna plant you. We will just plant these suckers all over the place and see what we end up with, yeah? Look at all these dudes. We got so many little dudes. Don't know what that could be. A Paw Paw, could not be. We'll find out. The cool thing about mystery plants is, well, planting them, A, and B, like the surprise when they come up. Like, what are you? We'll do some seed cataloging later. Oh man, he gave me so many. Oh my God. I'm so happy. We'll probably plant all these here because, like I said, there's no guarantee that they'll all make it. And this is a nice full sun area, and this can just be my little Paw Paw nursery. And again, I know if they're closely crowded and you're cringing at home, don't worry, I know. Let's see here. That's not a Paw Paw. That's not a Paw Paw. Okay, so we got a line up here, and we'll just start sticking these dudes in the ground. I think we'll do them in lines of 3. So we'll go. That will be the plan. Stan. And as they get bigger and happier, we will plant more or move them. We can put them all over the property and turn this into a regular Paw Paw orchard. So we're just going to dunk these guys into our rooting hormone. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And I'll just stick him right here. Get him in the ground real good. And again, we'll water the entirety of this with the rooting hormone after the fact. I'm just going to make sure. Not too bad. I think we'll cut it for here. I'll be back. I'm going to talk to my neighbor for a bit. We'll be back later. I'm doing pretty good. You should come over real quick, neighbor. I'll show you something. Stop by. I want to show you what I'm up to. All right. Throw some shoes on and come over. How do? mulberry.